Hi everyone, Michael Quinn, and today I have 9 questions for the sheriff. Ma'am. This morning I was fortunate to spend some time with Bill Ayub, the sheriff of Ventura County. A 36-year law enforcement veteran and a Ventura native, Bill has been our sheriff the last 3.5 years and is running for re-election in June. Bill was generous enough to share with me his thoughts on life, his family, and his commitment to our county for the next 4 years. Bill, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I want to start. Question 1, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for that question. I am 54 years old, born and raised in Ventura. Still live in Ventura with my family. We are the 3rd generation of Venturans. And we have a group of children that live locally as well, so we have 4 generations of family right here in Ventura. Buena High School, Bulldog, go Buena. And I've been the sheriff for the last 3.5 years, and I've been in law enforcement for more than 36 years. Love serving the community, and it's been my life's passion.
That's awesome. I heard that. What city were you born?
I was born in Ventura.
So this leads me to a very important question. What is your sports allegiance?
I'm a Dodgers fan and a longtime Rams fan.
Okay, so if I were to ask you whose house, what would be your response?
I would tell you Rams' house.
That's what we're talking about. And another rumor that's out there is your truck is a 2000 Ford. Is that correct?
It is. I drive a 22-year-old truck.
So no pretentiousness here with the sheriff?
The truck works. It gets me where I need to go, and it carries a lot of stuff in the bed. So.
That's awesome. Bill, what are your favorite charities, and do you volunteer for any groups or organizations?
There's a lot of great charities out there. I really gravitate towards the ones that serve the needy. I volunteer for Special Olympics and have for many years. I'm on the executive board for Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. I really think that what that program gives back to those athletes, and maybe even more importantly, their families, and the joy that it provides those people served by Special Olympics, is really special to me.
And your wife Stacy's a big animal advocate, is that correct?
She is. Yeah. She is very much so.
Yeah, we've noticed you have some dogs at your house, and are these rescues that you guys take in, or?
We've got 3 rescues that actually live with us. We've taken ownership
Fred is one of them?
Fred is one of them. Fred, Lily, and Appa.
Okay.
all rescues from clients of hers.
Do they allow you to have any room on the couch, or do they?
Generally not.
Generally not.
I'm usually relegated to the floor or something like that.
Awesome. Bill, how would you summarize your first 4 years as sheriff, and are you proud of your record in the department?
So the first 4 years were really tough. I took office a day after the borderline violence took place. We had 2 major wildfires burning in the county at the time. We lost Sergeant Ron Helis, a friend and academy mate, in the borderline violence. A global pandemic and widespread civil unrest. Very, very challenging time. When I set out to run for sheriff the first time, I really wanted to focus on leveraging technology to improve our efficiencies and our ability to investigate and prevent crime. I wanted to upgrade equipment and training for our staff, and I really wanted to make a purposeful effort to recruit and retain the best and brightest employees. And we've done all those things. There's still work to be done. I'm looking forward to continuing that good work in the second term.
I believe you told me you managed 1,300 employees?
That's right.
Unbelievable. What a polarizing time your first 4 years were. As far as the civilians looking in, there's so much that you had to deal with. The criticism, the scrutiny, the challenges. As a leader, what was your leadership approach to your deputies and your team to navigate through those tough waters?
So my approach, I really wanted to make sure that law enforcement was in a unified front throughout the community. We had the response to the health orders related to the pandemic, and we met with all the police chiefs, the sheriff, the district attorney. We talked about our approach to educating the public over enforcement. And that was largely successful throughout the community. We saw great compliance. Nobody had found a need to conduct any enforcement for these health orders in our county. And I think looking back, we fared very well compared to other counties. The same thing goes with the civil unrest. The unified approach in the ways to manage those incidents, to allow the First Amendment activities to occur, but drawing bright lines from blocking major arteries of thoroughfare, from creating acts of violence, destroying property. We wouldn't allow those things to happen, and we didn't allow those things to happen in our county. My approach to the community was to have continuous communication. Appeared on television, on the radio, social media, both with the public and with our employees, to talk about the changing environment, the rapidly changing environment, and the continuously moving needs for our response to those things. So I think we did really well.
This is a question I've always wanted to ask you. What is something about yourself, Bill, that not a lot of people know?
Okay, well, this may come as a surprise to you, but I'm a very competitive person, and I've been involved in athletics since I was a young boy, and I was a high school wrestler, and my brain has told me throughout my life that my body is younger than it actually is, and I've competed in wrestling and competitive events throughout the country as part of the police and fire games. And I've competed so many times and done well enough to have earned over 80 medals in police and fire competitive competitions.
I'm sure in your line of work, wrestling comes in quite handy, right?
It actually does. Most of their encounters that end up being physical turn into wrestling matches, so it has paid off.
And you win most of those. What weight class? Do you remember that?
138.
138, okay.
All through high school.
What was your record? Do you remember?
I was MVP of the team, so it was pretty good.
Awesome.
And league champion.
Awesome.
So,
that's cool.
Not bad.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Not bad.
Okay, this question comes to us from a voter named Clark. He wants to know, why do you write tickets?
Well, there's a misconception that writing tickets actually inflates our pay. That's not the case. The fines that come from any sort of traffic violations are divvied up amongst the courts and the state, some to the county. The cities get a sliver of that. The police department gets next to nothing, if anything at all. We write tickets to control the flow of traffic and to try and improve traffic safety. We look at areas that are high risk for accidents, and that's where we focus our enforcement efforts.
And also studies have shown that even 10 miles an hour over the speed limit greatly increases the amount of collisions.
It's true, and what we're seeing today is a lack of attention to the roadway. There's a lot of distractions in the form of cellular phones, entertainment systems that are built into vehicles, a lot of inattention, which really is our leading cause of traffic collisions.
Okay, Bill, this is bonus question number 1. How much over the speed limit would I have to be driving for you to give me a ticket?
1.
If you could have lunch or dinner with someone famous, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Gosh, there's so many people I would enjoy to have a conversation with and spend time with, learning from them. I'd have to say Abraham Lincoln would be at the top of my list. Just the challenges he faced in his presidency, that period of time in our country's growth and development, just fascinating to me, the challenges he overcame. I'd love to hear from his perspective what that was like. Maybe close seconds, Colin Powell was always somebody I admired, another man who overcame some incredible challenges and led through some difficult times, and certainly George Washington. I mean, who wouldn't want to sit down with the father of our country, the man who led the rebellion against English rule? I think it's just a really fascinating conversation we could have.
What an interesting foursome. For Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War broke out in his first year in office. Talk about what you have to contend with as the President of the United States. For Colin Powell, interesting story. His parents immigrated from Jamaica. He graduated from the City College of New York in a degree in
geology.
Yes, geology. And then he ended up becoming a 4-star general and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So an incredible man, an incredible story. And so can you imagine walking into Applebee's and the host is saying, "Oh, we have the table ready for the Washington, Lincoln, Powell, Ayub party of 4."
I like the sound of that.
But yet they only have seating at the bar. So
we'll take it.
Any way you can get it. Bill, tell me about your wife, Stacy, and your 3 children.
So, I often tell our academy graduates, our new promotees, they bring their families in. That's when I get a chance to talk with them. And I always make sure to thank them for the support that they give, their willingness to allow their loved one to serve at odd hours, sometimes at the last minute in a dangerous environment. That support system is so key to having successful employees, and for me, it's no different at all. Stacy has been there for me, allowing me to work extra duties that gave me the experience that allowed me to promote and get an advantage over other people that worked similar periods of time in the organization. She's just been a rock and incredibly supportive throughout the years. And my kids have, we've missed things over the years, school activities and special events because of the shift work and the demands of the job. But we've been able to make up for it in vacations and helping with youth sports and so forth. So it's really been this nice balance that my family has tolerated and allowed us to have, just a great family life. And I'm truly blessed.
What's the next big milestone anniversary for you and Stacy?
We're coming up on our 30-year anniversary, September 2nd. So we're getting into 3 decades here of being, well, we're beyond 3 decades of being together. It's going to be 30 years of marriage.
That's incredible. And tell them about where you had your honeymoon.
Well, we had meager earnings at the time. Our honeymoon was not very remarkable. We took a trip to the Grand Canyon, slept outdoors in a tent, and we're scared to death of wildlife noises, and it was just a quick little getaway to celebrate our marriage.
Those are the best vacations. You just road trip out to Grand Canyon.
One of the most memorable, for sure.
We've never been, so. What is your commitment to the residents of our beautiful Ventura County if you're reelected for the next 4 years?
So my focus has always been on driving crime down. I think that's our primary mission. Certainly other things such as fiscal responsibility, hiring and retaining the best and brightest employees, making sure we have the topic training and equipment are all priorities as well. But driving crime down, those have been my focuses in my first term. That's continuing to be my focus in the second term. We have a lot of work to do. We have a tough environment to get through, legislative challenges, more people released from the prisons and jails, and homeless situation in our communities that's just growing, mental illness that seems to be unchecked and growing in our population as well. And we have all those things to contend with, but at the core of it all, we're trying to keep crime low and trying to keep Ventura County just a safe and wonderful place for everyone to work and live.
What are some crime categories that we civilians are not aware of?
We're seeing an increase in catalytic converter theft. People coming in and actually getting underneath people's automobiles and stealing a piece of their exhaust system and turning it in for recycle value. There's precious metals inside that they get paid fairly handsomely for when they steal these things and turn them in. So we're working on reducing those thefts and catching the people and holding them accountable for committing those crimes. And then also organized crime crews coming into Ventura County, largely from our big Los Angeles County neighbor, and committing offenses here in our county.
I was telling you a story that my wife and we lived in another county, and we had our palm trees that were removed by a crew, and just surreal that you don't even think that your palm trees are not even safe. Do they resell those, or what do they do with those?
Palm trees are really valuable. They take a long time to grow generally, and if they're mature and in a portable condition, you have them in a pot or something on your front porch, they're a likely target for a thief.
There were just little fellas right there, and they just probably easy to load, and they loaded like 4 of them. My wife is the camera person. Okay, Bill, bonus question number 2. Does your department have a secret handshake? And if so, can you teach it to me?
Well, of course we do, and yes, I can. Here we go. That's it. Yes.
I did it?
Yes, awesome. You did.
I just want to say, Bill, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I know you're so busy. I want to let you know and let the people know that you are one of the most honorable and decent men my wife and I know. We're privileged to know you and your wife, Stacy. You have our full endorsement and support for Sheriff. Our county needs you back for the next 4 years. And anyways, we totally support you and we wish you the best on your campaign.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.